Feel like, to me, Gambit play the best though when they are at a deficit. They can work back in under any conditions. However, as said, I don't think they've had to bring out that level of adaptation yet. I think we've seen something similar now. I wonder if this is when they start flipping it up. Considering we've just had that timeout, this would be the perfect opportunity for it.
Decent buffer behind this purchase as well. Ascend look poised to pressure towards A, so it'll be Shados and Defo once again called upon. Maybe actually Defo going for a quick peek towards lower here.
They've got the res, maybe feeling confident about it.
Beautiful.
And why not just be confident about your own ability? Defo outdoes CNED. And that's that first blood that's been missing from them a couple of these rounds.
No res available as well, so Ascend have to play this as 4. The wall again invested towards mid, so we give Redgar some information to act upon. Nats actually holding pretty close contact here at the end of B main. Be able to slow things down with his snake bite. We'll find a head on the other side of that peak. No rotation just yet. You can see Redgar considering it, but it might even be Gambit. Give this up.
Yeah, wall goes up. Can't quite go for the
snake bite. Just comes ahead of it as well.
Yeah, he has to respect that now. Nats is buying time, which is fantastic for the rotations because they didn't necessarily bite early. Nats is really trying to do the damage, and this is the backline defense the Gambit can depend upon for now. Time. They didn't leave it too late, though. It's still 34 seconds, but Zeke, tricky scenario. You know that players are close by. Just going to use the lid to try and buy a little bit of safety. Redgar still finds Starzo. That's how the spike left loose. Nats gets involved.
No way,
pushes
Nats!
ahead. The man is so brave to do this. But Bone Cold quells it, but look what's left. It's down to just 1. Bone Cold in a 1v3, 13 seconds. And I think Gambit might have just done enough to get to 11.
Nats is so bold. Again, to make a play like this, we see him time and time again completely negating Viper's Pit. And buying so much time. We talked about creeping back away. There was no rotation coming through from Gambit. And just on the back of the snake bite, able to buy enough time. This is... It's almost illogical to push in like that, because you've got to anticipate, you know, they try and build around the Viper's Pit. They want to make sure that they can gain site control. But as soon as that Sage Wall drops, it's so difficult to hold on to B site.
And this could be one of the most integral rounds coming forward. Rifles out still for Ascend. Purchase still pretty enough. But 11 on the board for Gambit. 12 gets them almost not just map point, but match point and championship point. For now, Defo waits. Aggressively postured forward, looking for that first player to swing the corner. The Owl drone put in just to deal with this potential, but he's still going to find it. Falls away in time. Chronicle now steps into place. The next layer to the piece from Gambit, always prepared for what's about to come.
That is perfection from Defo, just waiting a second, anticipating the peek behind the Owl drone. And he's rewarded for it. Again, no res, not even close for Starzo. Have to play this out as 4. Gambit can sit back now with a man advantage.
There's a man to do it. It might just be CNED, though, and they need him right now. He's been having hot and cold games. This would be the round that you depend on your heavy hitters, your superstars. But he can't find the way forward. Starzo going to try and just defend that spike going down. Bone Cold puts his life in his hands. Starzo looks towards Rafters, doesn't see it, and CNED takes a look, takes a glimpse and takes a scalp. Shados goes, Redgar down, CNED! You say you need him, there he is, but it's not without reply. Bone Cold and Starzo put into a 2v2. You've got Nats and Chronicle, the dastardly duo that we saw from the first time. Now Starzo takes down half of it, it's all on Chronicle. A 1v2 to get to 12, or it's 11-11, and we go all even again. Chronicle tries to get further forward around the world we go, they're just playing time. Starzo, perfect composure. It's 11-11. Neither side can break ahead.
A beautiful round to respond to that initial pick, and it's so deep. the first blood occurs literally before they're even able to challenge any of these angles on site. So it requires Ascend to methodically push through. CNED comes up huge when Ascend need a hero.
Let's go! Let's go!
A huge, huge confidence boom. And this is it. You look now, 2,000 credits behind this purchase for Gambit. Ultimate's available.
And Shados is screaming these comms. You can see it in the camp.
Yeah,
CNED
yeah.
is closing that gap quick. It's on Shados to do any sort of damage he can.
They both each
Slips
other.
the net. It's Shados to win. Zeke goes down. Falls away safely. Chronicle by his side. The rest of the team's on the way. But Shados wants to get to 12 on his own back. Bone Cold stops the tear before it really comes through. But the spike goes down. Post plant. 3 of them standing. Rez comes in and could be 4 back up. There's the Rez. It's going to be Redguard getting Shados. There's Zeke back on his feet. It's a 4v5 now. Defo still stands finding Keyless. And look at the positioning coming out.
No way.
Defo! How's he got Starzo? And now it's all down to Zeke. The one man against the army of Gambit. And it's 12 on the board for Gambit now.
That round comes apart at the seams for Ascend. And immediately, the res available, the Viper's Pit comes through, it allows them to reinforce that retake so quickly. So quickly. Ascend don't even have a chance to catch their breath. And
Defo,
Shados goes huge there. Huge.
Impeccable impact. He knows what he's done for his side. He's got them 1 round away. This entire event comes down to this single round.
Get out of my way!
Spectre in the hands of Keyless. Empress, Blade Storm available for Ascend. Defo now
He's walking
creeping.
mid. CNED's
might
got his
catch-
ult though. Oh, he's got a
It's a
tag.
tag.
It's not a frag though. CNED still stands. He walks away alive for now.
That's
Oh, there's
huge though.
3
You
players
want
here.
CNED to be the one to find the opener here. Down to 90 HP, no armor. And Gambit set up to greet this hit.
Defo's re-aggressing. He's going for a second look. Another bite of the cherry. He got the first tag on CNED. Does he now get the better of him? Forced to fight and he succeeds. CNED down. Blades come out. Killers is going to find him, so it's not going to be easy just yet. It's not smooth sailing across the board. Starzo holds his own. Takes down Nats. They have to respect this for merely a second. Shados, Redguard, Chronicle. What's the plan?
Gambit 3v4 on the retake. Again, Ascend they want to scrap for this. They want to fight. See here now, Zeke has to go huge. The wall goes up, but straight away ripped away.
The time. This is it. Time to strike for Zeke. Starzo by his side. It's 12-12. Ascend aren't done yet.
I can't believe it. Somehow we're going to overtime here. Ascend
believe this game.
refusing to give up now, almost looking reminiscent of Gambit
Yes.
previously there. Build their way back in. They chip away at Gambit. And they force overtime. A full reset here. And again, a massive confidence boom again for Ascend. We talk about a couple of these rounds where, yes, Gambit were able to shut them out, but the wins for Ascend, bigger picture-wise, are much, much bigger.
12-12. Ascend give themselves just another shot at this. And Gambit, they've got a whole other map if they need it, but they want it right now. They want this done. They want it dusted. Defo I have to face off against CNED if he crests that corner.
Both invest in the op as well.
Glass cannons.
Gambit slow in approach, cautious. Oh, the possibility again, you have to anticipate this here. The Aldrome will actually spot out the operator and CNED's location. Has to fall away from this. Looking now for Keyless to pick up the slack on the backside of yellow. CNED actually looking for an angle through mid here.
Wait,
Starzo balled
Starzo?
over.
Are you
What is
kidding
that?
me? What a time to come alive! Starzo takes down Shados, takes down Redgar. And now Nats has to respond. They have to now deal with this problem. Gambit have suddenly lost a little bit of that brilliance, that default that's kept them so safe for so long. But it's not over yet. Nats, Defo, Chronicle, some heavy hitters still stand for the Gambit side. Defo not quite finding any way in just yet, and they're sitting just deeper than those first angles they're going to have to clear. They'll let them take up to yellow. They'll let them maybe even toy with a spike plant. They have the numbers here. But Gambit They don't really play to percentages.
30 seconds left.
They go above and beyond so often. They see
She's
nothing.
just tucked behind the box
Yep.
there as well. Bone Cold ready to spam through. Again, no wall, so can spam onto
walking
default
mid.
from here.
If they get a pick from this, no. Denied by CNED. Chronicle, though, that's 2.
What?
Timing, though, they're down to 10 seconds here. They're not going to have the timing on this at all. Spike in hand. And this is Ascend playing their hearts out right now to stay in this event.
They dig deep again. Starzo making plays like that in
OT!
overtime.
In OT!
And
Pushes mid!
It's so decisive. This is some of the things that are lacking in so many rounds for Ascend. They react perfectly to this early round information. They know that Gambit are going to attempt to aggress onto CNED as soon as he has to back away with that. Operator, it's beautiful from Starzo. And again, it's so weird. How do you read that? How do you read a play like that?
Pendulum now swings back into Gambit's consideration. Do we go again? Is it all going to that next map? We find out now. Heavy lean towards the A site.
Shados, first time he's actually played this position, I'm pretty sure, so mixing things up a little bit. Does have Chronicle by his side. Ascend now cautious once again on their approach towards A side. They have been shut down a number of times here, but it's looking pretty invested behind the owl drone. What they will find is on the back of this. Chronicle has to deal with that to make sure Shados can play off this position.
He's been unnoted. Now he is noted. Now they know the position. Do they swing on the Lear? It don't need to. Zeke's in their face already. Takes down Shados. Ascend, I don't think know when they're done. They've got to force Gambit away into more of a post-plant position, but that spike needs to go down.
The snake bite and the shock dart just a little off there.
Oof. That one ain't. But where do they find this entry on the way back in? Gambit presented a conundrum, a puzzle to somehow undo. Defo going to be trying to get up towards those rafters. See if he can get that pick. Zeke happy to the first contact. The wall goes up and away we go. Bone Cold says no. Starzo as well. It's down to Redgar and Chronicle. The two stand. Make it one. Redgar, is there anything left in the tank? Or have Ascend done enough to take us all the way here? Redgar gonna get towards the side. Tap the spike. No way.
No way.
No way. Someone stop him. It's gonna be Zeke. And we're going the distance.
We go to map 5. Ascend dig so deep to find that momentum so late on in Icebox.
Woo.
And again, lots of the negatives early on in looking lost for answers, unable to innovate in some of these rounds, unable to find space. Gambit was suffocating so many of these choke points. But somehow, CNED, when you need him most, he picks up here. And he will drag Ascend into map 5 in this series, Lauren.
I'm also looking at Starzo. That play in OT.
Oh, huge, huge.
Nerves of steel. I don't know how you find the guts in you to do that, to make those aggressive plays when you have no right to, when it's all on the line. But roll it back to the start. This entire game's been wild, but you're right. CNED, what a time to find it. Chronicle, Shados. I thought Shados was pretty much an immovable object on that site for so long.
Absolutely.
He was just such a win condition for them.
Also, I mean, I talked about opposite numbers at the start of this map. Defo actually found 8 first bloods here.
Yeah.
And that's the same as CNED and Zeke combined.
Wow.
He caused so many problems in some of these rounds. I feel like time and time again, Gambit find it open, they find the first blood, they try and reset. And Ascend looks so good on that reaggress. On that mid-round, that pivot back towards either side. Somehow, I still can't wrap my head around the fact that Ascend have actually just pulled this off.
Hey, I'm happy. We get a best of 5 that goes the distance. It's a rare treat, and it's something to remember, and what a way to have the first real final here. The champions go as far as it can, and, well, Split now is going to be coming up.
Yes.
Yes.
I'm sure that's going to be one Sean's going to want to get his teeth into.
Absolutely.
We were talking this map veto earlier,
Yep.
and the later it gets, the more interesting it gets. So I can't wait for this final map.
All right, well, let's not waste too much time. Let's hand over to a break so the desk can talk you through everything we just saw and that final map.
The way it was between us wasn't very serious. My fingers in your hair at the bar without a care. Oh, man, when I
to see 5 maps in this grand final, and thanks to Ascend's performance on Icebox, we're gonna get 5 maps. Woo, let's get it. I'm back on the desk with Sean, Riv, and Jess. For a moment there, Gambit, they had the chance to close it out, but what a comeback from Ascend.
That was such an insane comeback from Ascend, because it's something that they've struggled with for so long, and here on the biggest stage in the biggest moment of their entire careers, dude, they come up. They come up.
I can't believe like that long of a game and like going to a single play here. Starkso has that in the tank still.
Yes.
And you have Nats on the other side just playing this game that nobody else is, inside the mind of his opponents, reading plays with just the intentions of what he's feeling. It is incredible what we're getting from both teams.
You know what? If you want to be like Nats when you grow up, there's a few tips. Number one, get very good map awareness. Learn the map inside and out. Then learn the mini-map and how to look at it as you traverse the map. And thirdly, have insane game sense so that you can act with perfect timing. I mean, I want to be Nats when I grow up, so that's what I'm going to be looking for in my games.
Well, I want to be CNED when I grow up.
Those dance moves.
Yeah, I mean, the fact, if he's pulling out dance moves, you can tell the kind of mood they are in right now. But Sean, you know, you asked the question, where was CNED on Fracture? Where was he? What was he doing? He's just answered it here.
He delivered hard this game. He had so many impactful rounds, and same thing with Zeke and Starkso. All 3 of them on top of the scoreboard with 24 frags. The third person in this triangle of frags has shown up for Ascend at the most pivotal moment. What a game from Starkso, though.
Goes through this here. Star hugs and kisses for you. The next person.
That frag was huge. He got them to OT by walling and getting that frag opening on beats.
Right there.
Yeah, that's the play right there. That's the play. I mean, you can be a battle sage and you can come out swinging, but the fact that he had a nice balance of being that battle sage with utility was a good mix for his side to bring them back into the mix and change up the pace that they needed to change up. Also
a reminder that this guy plays everything, and he seems to master everything that he plays. Speaking of someone who masters everything they do, it's Barla, of course. He's standing by the telestrator to break down some of the rounds.
Yo, chill. The telestrator's nothing compared to these players up on the stage in this grand final. We're going to the distance, so let's go ahead and break down one of the plays from the last map. First thing I want to break down is actually a thrifty round from Ascend, because in my mind, this is kind of what started to turn the pace of this game. So I want to note, first off, how we actually have the wall saved here from Keyless all the way until 1 minute on the round. He's already rotating from B. Notice there was nothing happening. They called the A hit was coming in. He puts it down, and it's very interesting. We'll see how the rest of his team plays off of it, because just Starkso is also planning to put down this wall so he could rotate in through the maze. But right as the wall comes down, look at this angle that it gets him. Not just this one down maze as they break it, but the specific one once the wall comes down. Now he puts it up immediately, and boom, you're isolated here on the generator. That is fully isolated right there, and that's an easy kill there for Starkso. Then the rest, CNED's on top, and I love how instantly he goes on top of it, tries to catch other players by surprise, but Chronicle's aware. Then there's a dart in for the other side, and Zeke is pushing through the wall with it, and it splits it up so perfectly down the middle that he can play both sides. He's going to play with a flash even more, and that's pretty much it for this eco round. There's nothing to do on the side of Chronicle. I want to show one more clip here from Ascend later on the second half, because this one in my mind is beautiful. The synergy and the call just in general. They actually use a drone to start this off, but CNED is right on top of it, isolating a fight on the site, and then the rest of it, since they've done that, they've split up the entire map, and they could push into this without a fear on what's on the other side. So let's actually look at, after CNED gets this kill, what kicks it off. It's Bone Cold. He's got his ult down in the bottom of the screen there. He's ready. He wants a tag. If he can find it, that'll be perfect. Finds the tag, and now, since he's ulting the one player inside the left side of the site, that isolates the player on the right. That's how CNED gets the kill. And then there's one more little aspect to this that is really beautiful, and that's Zeke pushing in, clears everything, gets one kill, and he's on top of the wall. It changes the angle for the last player who's behind this to actually shoot him. He's going to escape with the dismiss, and that's a round one for Ascend. Just really gorgeous stuff this entire time from Ascend that keeps him in the game. Everybody firing on all cylinders. As we head into one final map, it's back to the desk.
Thank you very much, Bala. I'm so glad you spoke about the synergy and the chemistry, because we're about to show you some synergy and chemistry on the side of Gambit here for the HyperX Reflex. This goes to Defo and Chronicle. Riv, there were so many moments on that map, but this was one of the moments that was kind of nutty.
Honestly, just seeing how Defo in tight moments can play, but then the team sets each other up, like understanding how fast they're taking the site, and they adjust to continue doing that. There's no patience and no pausing. They're always considering the next step.
Yeah, I mean, again, we need a lot of these synergy on the side of Gambit, and also Ascend as well.
Word.
Going into the last map too, you know, they're going to have to really switch it on. Both teams bringing their A game. This is what we want to see, Sean.
Yeah, this is exactly what you want. We don't have a flat player in this server right now. Everyone is hitting hard right now.
Everybody's feasting.
I mean, Shados on the Reyna was popping off. You know, every single player has had big moments in this series. Even Chronicle, the top performer, Gambit showing up. We couldn't ask for a better scenario right now.
It's funny because then we're like, oh, you know, we actually now like said Redgar's name in a bit on the desk, and then the next round Redgar just starts popping off, and you're like, yes, this is a full team effort from everybody, and it has to when you go to 5.
Yeah, and speaking of 5, Split is the last map. Jess, I know you said you are a big fan of this map.
Huge fan.
I mean, 2 very different stories too for both teams coming onto this map.
Oh my god, the reason this map for me just really sits nicely in my heart is the last time, and okay, yes, everyone knows me as an operator fan, the last time I remember Chronicle on this map, the man on KJ goes over and snipes one site, and then they have, of course, their other duels over towards the other side. It's almost like I'm reliving years of FPS games where you have 2 snipes in the hand of one team. That's what I love about how Gambit plays Split, is they know how they want to defend, and I just want to see that through and through here on Split, because there's some good Raze plays that can be had as well.
Yeah, I do wonder if this is the time they bring back the Sova, which they trialed pre-tour.
I was just going to say that. Yeah, at Red Bull home ground, they busted out a Sova on Split, which is like sacrilegious.
Yeah, you weren't even allowed to.
He's like grayed out when you could jump into Split. You're like, we can't select him.
Having Sova, like, everybody can just jump in elevation. You're like, and I'm out of the way.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, if they have pocket strats with a Sova, though, it is so unreadable, and I would actually favor them if they pick the Sova.
I agree.
Because it's so unexpected, you don't get practice against it.
How are you going to know? How are you going to know lines? How are you going to know where to look? What's the pre-place? I mean, at that point, you're going against the unknown, and we've seen how going against the unknown in halves can be a huge detriment.
We're going to the Prime Gaming Agent Select. Now, you know, there is a reason that Sova, people don't play him here, you know? There's a reason for that, but also a Bone Cold probably going to move on to that Omen as well.
I love that you bring that up.
Let's go, Bone Cold.
I want to see it. That's how they set the tempo. We don't get the Sova. And looking at Ascend's map versus TL, that was kind of just a, wait, can we gain anything from this? So did Gambit learn anything about Ascend strats from that? Because it was just firepower shots and Ascend rolling a retake or a site take.
Yeah, I mean, Ascend was never down in that game. They were always in control. And honestly, Bone Cold single-handedly beat both of the controllers on the Liquid side. He's going to have to do that again today if Ascend wants this championship.
Oh, man, having Zeke, I think on Split, I'm looking at the difference of the duelists here, and the reason that I want to highlight that, and you guys can have the greater mind on the desk than me about this, is that when I look at Split, I am looking always to having that duelist in particular. I don't know if you prefer a Jet yourself. I'm thinking about Ops and whatnot, but for me, the Raze reign supreme. Could be wrong.
We shall see what they can do here. This is the final map of Valorant Champions. A winner will be decided after this one. Over to you, Pansy and Hypok.
There really can only be one now. We've gone the distance, and it's a rarity. I don't think we have to say it. Normally, best of 5s, it's over a little quick, and you're like, I wish we'd have seen it all. These two have put on an incredible show for us here. So take a second, all of you at home. Hopefully one day you'll be in the venues with us. Remember this moment. This will define the history of one of these two teams. The other, well, history is written by the victors, right? You kind of forget who's in that second place spot. But there, as said, can only be one.
Yeah, and the fact that this has run so deep, and we've already seen from both teams having to dig deep. I mean, Gambit, let me roll your minds back a little bit, just 2 maps ago. How confident, how comfortable that map 3 was. The fact that we've come this far, it is a testament to Ascend. Fixing one of the biggest issues I feel with this roster is their inability to close out or play from behind or play under pressure. Now it comes down to Split.
and we're away. Gambit going to be starting things out on the attacking side, and Ascend on the defensive side, and Nats. We know this man is a genius. He's had some of the best performances we've ever seen on a stage like this. On the other side, 2 phenomenal players as well. So a tentative start here from both sides.
And looking for a little bit of aggression inside of A main. The Trailblazer are actually going to force back Starzo. Lucky not to get caught in that stun. Bone Cold ready with the paranoia though.
This could be big. Do they swing back in? Starzo was ready. He fell back a little too far to capitalize on it. I feel like they almost had the answer to that. But actually, it's still somewhat even between the two here. But mid-control has been garnered.
It's crazy actually that nobody falls in that engagement or the trade-off there. Nats peels away from A main, I think feeling a little bit of that pressure.
Starzo has so much pressure coming his way, and same with Killers though. If you look at, if this keeps going its way, it's going to be a little bit of a fake out maybe towards that A site, and look where the spike is though. Look where Nats is going to be leaning. Bone Cold tries to explore and loses his life for it. First blood drawn, Defo going to take that title, and Starzo once again just starts feeling that notion that someone's just around the corner.
I think they're pausing for this flash here, so again with Starzo playing so close, he might actually be able to find a kill ahead of this. He will actually.
They went ahead of it. He did a little bit of damage, but they still stand, and there's going to be Killers slipping away towards CT. Has to try and catch this cross, but the spike's going to be on the site. He can't really deny that. There's a wide old flank coming in too. Keep that in the back of your mind. Zeke is going to be on the maddest of flanks. Seen it up towards heaven. Gambit locked into the site, and you're right. This gives Zeke a chance, and he gets it with both hands. Looking for the follow-up. Shados, he was lower HP earlier on. Zeke, what a time to find form as Ascend. Looking like they want to send that message home. Ascend here. First round on the board.
Beautiful stuff. The timing there, so unfortunate. And it's Chronicle that has to come forward with the spike. He has it from the start of the round. He's that kind of, that second piece to the execute through mid to take heaven control. And the turret just giving up. Yes, Nats is there to greet him, but Zeke makes the most of just that small window of opportunity. That's after. Gambit do everything right there. They slow things down after there's a couple of bits of utility to greet them on that mail push. They know not to overextend.
And as much as Gambit constantly pull off these mad comebacks and go against the odds in that regard, they play such a thinking man's game. They play everything just to perfection. Very hard to find fault in their approach, ever. You see that brilliance being a constant threat to some, but bear in mind that Ascend just have that, I don't know what it is. The willingness to just try again. It looks like we'll try and isolate Nats here just very quickly. He's going to be dealt with. No one else is around, though.
Starzo will actually wall off, but we know Gambit will now try and force their way through heaven. The paranoia huge from Bone Cold. The first one gifted to him. Actually, we'll find a second as well. Shados falls. Keeler's there to find another. Clean as you like. The Prime Gaming flawless in round 2 from Ascend. Carry across all 5 Spectres here. And already just trying to chip away at some of these setups. A massive focus towards Nats in both rounds here. We'll actually draw an extra body potentially towards A main to maybe address that. Again, don't expect too much of a variance here. And Nats' play at all. The wall once again invested. And the thing is, if they do manage to get mid control, it's obviously key that he's then that late round piece for them.
Aggression being shown by Zeke there.
These one-ways from Bone Cold always cause so many problems. Just on these first angles in the early round, Chronicle has to respect this.
And look, defensive side of control, it's hard to not be impressed. They're going to sit by this. They have the Spectres and there's a set piece in play. It's so well crafted. Zeke gets away with Chronicle. Can't get the rifle, but that's more than enough damage. But you've got to look towards middle as well. Yes, the wall's still there, but for how long? And trying to contain Nats when he's got a rifle, easier said than done. As again, Gambit look for that next layer, that next step. Nats on his own is still keeping almost 3 players present towards that A side. They still have to respect his positioning.
Defo's got himself tucked up into heaven. You can see Starzo already invested the wall. But here to greet the other side of it as it will start to decay pretty soon. Starzo will actually take this engagement here.
And the scary thing is Zeke's tucked in towards hell as well. So Starzo can fall away, maybe sit like a little deeper, just be careful, no one's going to explore too deep on that. I'm looking at this man on the screen right there, Zeke. How much more can he get done from this? Actually gets dropped on, and Defo just bullies down Starzo. Yeah, Bone Cold's alive, but he's got a time limit on his life, and he knows it. Gets aggressive, and that's the spike. Hold on. Oh, Bone Cold, I thought that shot was coming in, but time. 10 seconds now, there's still danger. They have to facilitate that cross, and Defo's defending it with his life. Gets Nats towards the site. The spike goes in, and Killers is on the ground level now.
Yes, left to deal with this spike cam, but not even a factor here. Defo will close things out, but lots of damage done. Both shields forced out in terms of the repurchase here. So it costs Gambit a lot. That's on the back of Bone Cold and Zeke in the early round. Like I said, these one-way smokes cause so many problems, but as soon as that confirmation comes on the back of the Boombot, he satchels through, finds a freebie, which is Chronicle almost left on an island, right? And we know that the focus is pretty much going to be 1-3-1 for Gambit. There's 3 people towards mid, Nat slow working 8, and Chronicle just lurking outside Garage.
Also, just credit to Defo for keeping cool under that, making sure that spike cross wasn't going to be a problem. There was a double stack towards Heaven at the end of that. That could have easily been an issue considering it was, what, like sub 15 seconds, but no, does very well in that.
Well, also, I mean, in that regard, with Nats' utility invested elsewhere, it makes that cross even more treacherous so late on.
Poison's off. I was going to say now into the full bite, but there's still a Spectre with Redgar.
But this is where I think I look towards Nats to achieve something over towards A main. Because it's not really pressuring at all. Whether or not it will be, like I said, the mid follow-up on that. Well, you need to find something, because it's a huge investment to find nothing time and time again.
Tina wanting to walk that. Almost trying to prop up Zeke in that corner. Bring all the attention his way. He's playing a dangerous game. Defo is sharp today. The TP comes out. There's a confirmation of information. But Gambit can still paint this picture however they feel. And it looks like they're going to actually convert towards an A hit.
30
Trapper are actually a little deeper on rope, so cause some problems here. Zeke will pop the showstopper, try and find something in mid. He might actually find Redgar inside ropes. He will.
Redgar was none the wiser. And now here's the problem. Ascend! Shut them down at the entryway. Defo can get in here eventually. How much can he do, though? 10 seconds. It ain't much to play with. Ascend! Compile the pressure towards Gambit. They read it well, and that showstopper definitely helped out matters.
And now I look back towards what I just discussed. Nats, again, completely, eliminated from that round. There's nothing they're achieving on the back of this A main control. Ascend aren't biting. No. They're holding strong. And the other indicator on this is Chronicle. Every time he's noted in B main, they know it's a deep default. Because that's what Gambit are known for. They want to slow work a pick. They want to find some pressure, draw a rotation somewhere, and then isolate it.
And we were outside the front just before the game started, and the discussion of better the devil you know, right? Ascend, out of all the teams to face, yes, Gambit are monsters in their own right. They truly are. We've seen it throughout this entire event. They're never done. Ascend know them very well. They've played them plenty of times, scrimmed them, same regions, same tournaments, time and time again. You came in here, let's say, against like a crew or someone who's completely different. That changes the dynamic completely.
The curveballs, you could the anomalies to I guess expected tendencies and whatnot. But I mean, Yinsu said this at the top of the show. It's 2-1 on this heads up. So Ascend definitely know what to expect, and the big thing you look towards there is how well Ascend are able to adapt, because I think there's been a couple of instances that remove that head-to-head scoreline altogether. There's been times where Gambit have absolutely bodied Ascend, and that's on the back of punishing the early round aggression and the things you credit towards the strength of the default and being able to really tame the beast of CNED. All right, it's not even been a factor yet. CNED's not even been a factor in some of these rounds.
But this is also when I obviously look at Gambit and go, okay, well, how quickly can you reinvent yourself? How quickly can you identify the problems that you're having, find an answer to it, and readdress it? Now, we've seen in the past it can happen in a blink of an eye. They flip a switch, they've got the answer, they're ready to go. This banks a little on Defo here in this round. Understatement, potentially. He's got it all to work with. In the meantime, CNED gets aggressive, finds Chronicle, who's been a bit of the telltale sign, as you said.
Ascend happy to give up mid once again. That wall invested so deep on Heaven that the contingency in place for Ascend is just fantastic, and they're going to be able to greet this. Defo tries to get something done. Ascend giving Gambit so much space to work with, but it equates to nothing.
Now they'll maybe get a spike plant, and that, I don't know how much beyond that. Let's see if there's anything interesting with the post plants, all towards the back of the site, and Defo trying to be the tip of the spear. Try and greet them with a smile, do some form of damage, some semblance of hope to be found in this round for Gambit, 'cause they know this slow grind back is coming. Cena's found Red Guard down to Defo and joined by Shados. Anything else in the tank? How much more can you bring? The answer looks like a resounding nothing. It's 4-1. Ascend rising to the occasion on the final map.
Like I said, they give up that space. They're happy to put that focus onto A main because the read is perfect. They know that it's likely going to be Nats, potentially +1. And more often than not, it's just Nats. And the fact that they find the second lurker over in B main so early on, they know that focus is back towards mid. I feel like Ascend literally know it's 1-3-1 every single round. They give up mid, they give up that initial push towards heaven or through ropes, I should say. And like I said, Gambit gets sight, but it's so comfortable because it's cost Ascend nothing. There's not really massive investments of utility to you know, control B heaven or control A heaven. It's actually crazy to see how much they still have in this late round, which is where Gambit flourish. They flourish in the late round.
And any adjustments are what we're looking at now. Anything that Gambit can bring back out with these rifles by their side. Good purchase to play with. A couple of ults very close by to coming in. But again, defensive-sided aggression, they're happy enough to give up some part of mid-control, but now without that wall in place, it's going to be a quick burst. Definitely going to try and lead the charge, but eats the flash. It's not good. Bone Cold actually took a second or two to punish it, but he still does. Swing back in from Starzo, keeps his nerve. And now you can see the pinch coming in, but it's being dealt with to perfection by Ascend. Two players still have to try and get past. Bone Cold still here! One bullet is all he needs. 3 to spare. You got any more? He finally runs out. As there's the final shutdown. Ascend are in full form, Hypog. What is Gambit doing now?
They have to switch this up. I'm almost expecting a timeout, a breather here to reassess this because, like I said, Nat's completely absent so far. And yeah, it's fine if statistically he's not represented, but he's gaining nothing on the back of this.
Yeah, it's a lack of.
Absolutely no pressure towards this deep hold from Ascend. And actually, this is on the back of another round where they're aggressing into B Garage. They don't want to entertain Nats. They don't want to push into Nats. They're literally focusing Chronicle right now.
And they're down to Spectres, Sheriffs, Gambit. We've told everyone time and time again, you guys always have a plan in mind. You're never quite done. And Bone Cold, though, puts himself on the line. There's so many players behind this wall. Bone Cold, you're surely going to get checked on. Didn't get seen. Yeah, he did. Finally, Gambit deal with him. That's the first step. And now the next layer, though. Can they still close in the gap here? CNED forced to respect this. So much utility invested. Nats with the ult comes in as well. KJ ult comes down. Zeke still stands. Starzo on the back of the site. The spray towards main. And the spike's been lost.
They're going to try and recover this here. Starzo still back sight, and Starzo stands strong again. 33 HP now.
Oh, and the aim from CNED comes in. It's a celebration from Ascend. Gambit are bringing nothing out right now. I want a timeout. I want them to deal with this now.
They need to stop the bleeding. Nats, in this round, will pull back towards the team. They try and stack up here, but they throw everything in this round, and Ascend just sit back. They let them push in. It's almost looking like some of the setups we saw on Fracture from Gambit. They're baiting in. They want Gambit to push. They want them to invest everything on the way in because they're winning every single gunfight right now. Starzo, again, comes up huge for them.
And the ults are cycling so perfectly as well for Ascend. Now they've got plenty of extras to throw into the mix if they want to, but similar scenes. Bone Cold on the adjustment this time. Dog dealt with by Starzo.
And he can keep getting weird now. The fact that these rounds are going the way they are, Bone Cold can just do Broman stuff. He can play spots like this. Another one way.
Look how, I mean, Sean must be loving this on the desk because it is a lovely display, but how much more can he do? Now he knows that they haven't instantly sprung off the back of this, so there shouldn't be an over-rotation. That forward position should pay well here to maybe get the notion of what they're up to. It still looks like that 3-2 split towards B, but two players in middle here from Ascend. And Gambit, watch your answer now. You have the first pick, which you've not had often. Oh, Bone Cold.
I think they might have actually heard that. They're close enough to hear where...
Close flash. Close enough, yeah, he eats it, but he doesn't pull the trigger. He sits and waits, and he's just going to be turned into mincemeat. Defo makes it look easy. Light work!
What?
Zeke still gets away with 2. It's a 2v3. This isn't impossible. Killers and CNED up in heaven. Drops down towards hell, looking for that pick, and oh, Killers gets 1. A 1v2. Have they even noted CNED? It looks like they want a double face through by Pillar, and he's still going to keep his life for now. 22 seconds. He's doing everything he can in this scenario. Shados is low HP. Redgar still sitting pretty. Another fight! Oh, and the spray just goes wayward. The round goes to Gambit, but my word, is it the finest of margins now.
And that's what you don't want to see. When you have to build back into a half like this, coming down to 1 player. We talked about statistically Nats earlier. He's 1-7 right now. And the weird thing to consider here, it's almost like Ascend, they're like wired to the primary source. In this round here, there's only 1 member of Ascend committed to holding A.
Yes.
And Nats is nowhere to be seen, right? Ascend have the perfect read.
Oh, and CNED is just feeling it. Quick as ever. Just bottling brilliance. As now Gambit have to operate at the player deficit, investing the wall quickly just to try and deal with it. Zeke blocks Defo out of the sky. Who are Ascend, and where has this team been the entire time?
Another example, they bait in, CNED takes that first peek, they think maybe there's 1 more layer behind this, the Sage Wall goes up, and Zeke's there to greet any aggression on the back of it. Now they can pivot away. Gambit left scrambling for an answer. They might try and find something towards A here. But already Zeke preemptively rotating this direction. 3v5 for Gambit here. Bone Cold and Zeke on the other side of this smoke, Lauren.
Gambit are desperate for this. They need a little more here. Give them some leverage, and Bone Cold gives them nothing. Fades away, doesn't want to give up too much. Nats is now trying to close the gap, but he gets hindered on approach. And Bone Cold is just buying time, pulling rotations over. And Nats has been slowed down. He can't have the impact he wants to drop down. He gets it. Good work from Nats. Trying to create some space. CNED looking to fill the void though. Ooh, and a bit of a miss and a half. Nats with the punish. If he has to do it single-handedly, he will. And that spike's on the way over. There's 2 players now towards watching this site. Zeke, position noted. Starzo's timing couldn't have been better. The guy fills the void, and look at this. I don't know what you do if you're Gambit.
You call a timeout.
You should have already called a timeout.
You have to right now. I said they need to stop the bleeding. Now this half is starting to run away from them. And Ascend in a really, really powerful position here in terms of just being able to switch up. These minor adjustments now. CNED can run rampant with this operator. The first time we're seeing Gambit stack up for an all-in piece towards A.
Yeah, but look at the buy.
Yeah.
What's
the
it
Blade
worth?
Storm. The Blade Storm.
Sure. Let's see it. Let's see if there's anything to this. And Defo just gonna have to let it rip, do any sort of damage. That's a great start. Huge impact from Gambit, and finally they switch it up. Finally they look for a new option. Leaving Starzo, Killers, and CNED behind on this one. Spike plant gonna go down. Now they can invest that late round utility for the post plant.
Both res difficult here for Starzo. They have to get some control back here if they want to try and invest that. But also, they could just hold on. They could just make sure that everybody falls on the side of Gambit in this round. They'll try to force back through, but the snakebite going to slow things down there. CNED finds ahead.
Oh, CNED, maybe there's still a bit of a chance on this one. Time is going to be dwindling. There's the res coming in, though. Redgar doesn't want this to happen. He's going to find more. Chronicle by his side. It's a thrifty round that they convert, and it's a desperation round at this point from Gambit.
On the back of Defo and that Blade Storm. Big, big pace shift here. But what do they carry across to a buy round? I would hate to see them reset back to this default. I would absolutely hate to see it, Lauren.
No, I'm waiting with bated breath here. I want to see an adjustment. If they feel like there's some options towards that A site, something they can explore a little more. I don't mind if it's even a switch up towards B. I just want to see something a little varied. Because as you've highlighted, it is so readable right now. We have to wait and see what the look is.
So much of the early rounds just given up for free. At least a slight adjustment in formation here. Defo quickly through ropes, and actually a deep lockdown. Cut off both heavens. And the alarm bot makes me feel as if they're going to drift towards B on the back of that.
But the spike could be in danger. I'm waiting to see if they actually press the corner. CNED still finds Defo, and the spike's gone down. Nats is on rotation. CNED needs to just fall away to the side. They've won the fight. That was the integral one. Nats trying to keep it together. There's still another target out there, though. And there's CNED still trying to connect towards Heaven. He's trying to buy time, protect Starzo here, because Nats is desperate to get that spike back. And it's a battle on two fronts, as Nats is trying to play this patiently, allow time for the player Shados to come over. Couldn't adjust quickly enough, but still good damage done. Seeker's going to come out, and CNED looks to get maybe a little ahead of that.
Give them an idea. Chronicle actually swings on the back of it. Somehow finds Keyless and Zeke. CNED, the last man standing for Ascend here. The Seeker will confirm it as they hightail it towards A. But another round, it's cost them so much on the way in. Ascend make it so difficult.
You say it like CNED's not going to win this.
Do you think he does?
You ever seen CNED with nothing to lose?
And a Blade Storm.
Yeah. But Shados and Chronicle.
Please
Chronicle's
close this round out.
Chronicle has normally been the safe pair of hands. CNED doesn't care. He's crossed. Gonna double dip, have a little look. Yeah, turret no more. Poor old Tommy's gone. But it's probably gonna be Chronicle here with a shot to the side of the brain. CNED's been given a lot of freedom to move. One shot left in the mag. No one noted early on. Bladestormer's back up, drops down. Looks for the way across. Gets the glimpse and he gets the frag! And a player with nothing to lose. CNED, can you find it in the time? 11 HP. Tries to draw him closer. He tries to pull him in. Chronicle, he's not going to fall for it. He holds his nerve. He's trying to give Gambit a window, a chance, something to play with. And Gambit will walk away at least with the bare minimum now.
So much respect shown there to CNED. I think that's why we see Chronicle back up the plants for Heaven. It's almost throw Shados in the mix, right?
Yep.
Leave him out to dry. Make sure. We're in another scenario where I'm looking at the scoreboard and I'm thinking, how have Gambit got 4? I mean, potential to find 5, yes. I have to take a quick look at the economy and how it looks coming in here. But somehow Gambit are still in this.
They scrape it together, man. Every single time it feels like there's always something to them.
Bit of an adjustment here actually towards A main. The investment of the Viper's Wall and the Cosmic Divide. They might try and just get on and find this Viper's Pit.
Defo just going to throw his body on the line. And you're right. Look at the spike. It's over towards B. And they've absolutely bitten on this as well. Almost all players coming over, barring one. Starzo lingering around that B side. Defo trying to really sell it on this. Surely they ask questions now.
The wall on B main, if they shoot that, that's going to tell Ascend everything they need to know.
Defo. Huge impact. Impeccable work. He sold them an absolute fake and a half. And Zeke going to try and close in with that judge, but it looks like it's done for. Gambit pull out the fake just as they needed it here.
Well, I guess the success of all that conditioning, as soon as that adjustment comes on that A site hit with the Cosmic Divide, Ascend bite.
And this one step too far. Gambit, they're never out of it. They are never done. They worked back 5 rounds when it felt like Ascend knew everything they were doing.
I cannot fathom how this is 7-5. It's actually a real testament to Gambit's sheer grit and determination to never, ever back down. This is... I mean, at first I was really worried about how this was going to go. Now, I can't wait for the second half.
Yeah, let's get over to the desk right away. I want to get back into this game.
Thank you very much. Guys, Gambit, they're the comeback kings. You can't doubt them, right? You just never.
Hypoc hit the nail on the head. I have no idea how they have 5 rounds right now, and they're in this game, potentially even in the driver's seat. Every single round they won is a massive grind. They just grind through it. And every round Ascend wins looks clean. This is flawless victories left and right.
Yeah, I feel deceived by the scoreline right now. And we had that discussion before about, you know, whether the Raze was going to be integral. Well, Zeke popped off, but conversely on the other side here, I mean, the fact that we had the Omen, that's what I was looking for over and over throughout the entirety of the series, throughout all of the playoffs. I wasn't working the game where it was there.
Yeah.
Now I am, and now I'm thinking this is working really well for them.
And like Hypock and them said, don't keep doing the same thing. Split it up.
Yep.
Do something else. It looked like they were just throwing these haymakers at B and just whiffing the shots, getting taken down. But like, you know what? We did this wrong. Let's do it again. And then they finally stopped going to B, stayed away from Bone Cold, and were able to start sorting the map, figuring out how Ascend was actually playing it. And that's the little bit I have for you on how Gambit came in.
It's a scary prospect as well, because let us not forget that in recent and historical times, Gambit's been a defensive-sided team on this map. So I'm sitting here looking at this scoreline going, one, I don't know how you got the rounds, and two, you're going on to a preferred half.
Yeah.
Uh-oh, Ascend, what do you have, up your sleeve for this?
They've done this to every team they played. They've lost the maximum amount of maps to win this tournament, and they win every game where the other team gets 12 rounds. This team is,
my word,
they just have no quit.
Well, we'll see if Ascend can hold on to this lead or Gambit make one last comeback for that trophy. Pansy and Hypock, let's get back into game.
Let's do it indeed, and that's what they're fighting for, the trophy that sits between them, all on the line, 7-5. We've gone the distance. And I feel like Gambit now have given themselves enough room. This has got to be so much pressure on Ascend now, because they've seen this before. It's been done before. It's been done in this series to them before.
They've given them enough room in their comfort zone on defense.
There.
Ascend are going to have to constantly be evolving throughout this half. Confirmation there, at least, of early presence towards bottom mid. Gambit playing pretty deep here. You can see all of A main giving up. The utility going to make sure of that. And almost a willingness to fight for B male here.
Yeah, Shadows needs to back away quickly because Defo got out of there. Now the flash comes in, going to be forcing them further back, and now the hit looks like it wants to filter on through. Fountain on down. It's going to be Defo who just gets overrun. Bone Cold just straight up fights through him. What are these kills? Ascend, just powerful in approach. Shadows and Chronicle playing through from CT, but it's 4 to find. It ain't going to be easy now. Spike down the time in their side. Zeke looking for it, and he gets it. Ascend get the pistol in the second half.
Oh my word!
I don't know about this game, man.
But that's the pace it has to be from Ascend, and that needs to maintain. It needs to be consistent.
Oh yeah, just be mad confident against Gambit in a grand final.
If they want to make Gambit sweat on the defense, they have to remain unorthodox, and it almost has to be smashing their head against a brick wall.
Because Gambit win every other time. I don't know how to explain this to people.
These slow rounds, I hate to say it, on the defense, will suit Gambit so much better.
100%. Now look at this interesting approach coming out here. 5-play lean towards A, and a 5-man stack down middle.
Flash through. Nobody on the other side of it. Ascend still cautious. Close enough, actually, that Chronicle's utility will at least give away the information, but full site control here.
What do we have? 2 sheriffs and a ghost. So, hey, there's still a little bit of fight in Gambit, a little bit of venom to the bite.
Starzo wants a cheeky low angle. He's still going to have a letterbox to shoot through.
Yes. Oh, that's a dangerous angle, and Chronicle actually connects towards him instead. That's actually kind of sick. And now you're going to have to see the rest of Ascend trying to fill that gap. There's Killers, there's CNED. It's going to be shut down. Clean enough as Redguard, the last one to come around. They're dealt with. 4 still stand. And Ascend take the next step.
So, nothing really for Gambit to work on the back of there with an all-in piece from Ascend to convert the bonus. We'll see here if Ascend try and capitalize on these SMGs. It would require a lot if they fight for mid here. It's going to be really, really awkward for them to close the distance and make the most of this setup here. Actually, Starzo will ride this through on the Sheriff. I think there's the only one really with early progress towards an ultimate.
Ooh, early aggression. 2 players leading this way. And actually, CNED bests Shadows? They've got to know there's more as well. The Wild Spray actually will claim CNED's life. But look at the response in kind.
So
it's
quick
quick.
through ropes.
They're straight up through ropes. They really want to punish this, maybe aggression or maybe players out of place. No one's going to offer them a free kill here. And here's the swing, red guard. This could be everything. Timing could be great. Actually, a decent trade for Starzo. Next in line, Defo's gone down. And Nats is trying to keep this together. The one player that's left is Killers. Rifle to hand and a CT push in mind. He knows where Nats is. Maybe a further step towards Chronicle. A fight on one and a loss. Chronicle keeps control. 2 rifles remain, and Gambit get on the board in this half.
It cost them a little. Defo not close to that Blazestorm just yet, but Shados looking hyper aggro there on the back of Defo being spotted on the spy cam. I think he's able to just slip away from that. Nats. The rattiest play we've seen so far, to be honest. It's almost like that situation. It's like, please don't bait your teammate. Oh, no, wait, you're good for 2. Yeah.
It's only baiting if you don't clutch.
Exactly.
And it looks like a Northern piece towards A again. And maybe this is off the back of that aggression we saw Shados lean towards. Maybe they feel it can be a little exploited, and it looks like they're going to go straight in towards this isolate if they can. And Shados greets him with a smile. Sends Zeke right on back. Defo still trying to do the dance, and he comes out on top. And now just 2, make it 1. Killers with nothing to do but die. And Gambit stamp their authority back in this game.
They stand to fight versus the paranoia. I mean, it's just, I was talking about some rounds in the first half being illogical, but again, Gambit demonstrates something that's so uncharacteristic, which is discreet aggression. At the front door, this isn't deep towards sight. This is literally at the choke point. And the rotation comes through so quickly, so quickly. See here if Asen can get actually any progress towards these ultimates. Sheriffs across the board, a frenzy for CNED. Defo and Shados once again, they want to quell this early round.
Good conditioning too.
Absolutely.
Get it in their heads, that's going to be a constant factor to handle. And Chronicle just chilling on the site.
Of course, Starzo has to walk through.
Yes, it's not great. And maybe Chronicle giving him a bit of a kindness, just going to put him down quickly. That utility is rife on this site.
Well set up.
He's read it so well. He knows what's around that corner. Couldn't quite get a utility in that he wanted. So now Heaven's a little bit more vulnerable. Calls Chronicle's attention, but he still deals well enough with Killers. Couldn't quite do much more. Has to be cautious of other players coming in through main, but that's not the case. The rotations are here. Everyone's in attendance. There's just Bone Cold all alone. That's 1. Any more would be a miracle. On 27 HP and a bit of a dream. That's all he's got. And Shados sends him back. We are closing in on the scoreline once again.
And this dynamic duo, Nats, Chronicle, will be tested in this half. They were pretty much absent for a lot of those rounds on attack.
Yep.
But this is where you expect them to start shining. Nats already with that Viper's Pit. Chronicle has the lockdown available. Actually behind this purchase, you see actually a couple of holes on the side of Gambit, more so, but obviously we know with the way this has played out already, Ascend. They have this buy round, next one, they will be forced to save. I'm terrified, because if Gambit keep this up and you look towards Shados and Defo to, like I said, quell that aggression in the early round, that's a huge factor for Gambit, because where their strengths lean, it's towards the late round, both on attack and defense. So if Ascend can't find value, I'm really, really worried for them, because then they start to slow things down. Then you give a little bit of map control to Gambit, and they run away with things then.
Plan all along for Gambit. And the timeout now is obviously Ascend, so hopefully they can address this now if you want them to not wilt away under the pressure that Gambit are 100% going to bring and already have been bringing. I think as much as, you know, we obviously credit Ascend with that great read towards Gambit, Gambit are in the right places here. They are meeting fire with fire.
And again, a big indicator will be the paranoia, right? In terms of these fast hits, that's kind of the only thing to force Gambit back deeper onto site. As soon as that comes through, you know that there's something behind that. You always know there's something behind that, because they desperately want to build around CNED. We saw it on Icebox. And again, with him heating up, I don't blame Ascend at all.
No. 9-8.
Do you explore B again with that? Look at the setup. It's actually disgusting.
It's, how do you get past it? How, like, what are you meant to do? And now you add this into the mix. Okay, well, mid's suddenly a little less available. And that's a giveaway that he's here, but he's still... Wait, what? Zeke wins that? Yeah, everyone's going back to mid. They're like, oh, wait, what? Okay, that changes how this round plays out. Mid's suddenly available, and these rotations are getting cut off from each other. There's the ult and Vista, so they know exactly where these players are going to be waiting. Defo, got to be careful now. There could be something waiting down those depths, and there is. It is CNED. However, it is a look towards that B side, but we know the utility setup is good from Chronicle, but can he keep it in check? Yes, he absolutely can. Defo by his side finds Zeke, and now Chronicle want to get aggressive on this, but look where the spike's going. It's heading straight towards A.
Defo being positioned here almost has a good idea of exactly what's going on. Starzo does have the res, but as we can see on the minimap, none of those are attainable right now.
They're getting aggressive.
They have to. Gambit have the man advantage here, and they have the lockdown. They need to prevent that from being used here.
Defo knows it, though, keeping this in the forefront of his mind. Showing attendance, Starzo sprays him wildly, he gets one! Redguard's fallen, and now they back away. That's what they wanted. They wanted that one pick, and now they could have unleashed. Starzo playing by Pillar, looks towards heaven. There's that lockdown coming on through. What do they do with this? 10 seconds.
This is so late, though.
They're not wrong. This is wrong. Oh, CNED, you're playing with fire, and Defo's going to punish Starzo, though. Back to the side, back to the wall, quite literally. And he's got to be careful. Isolates one, and now the 1v1. He loses out to Defo, but the timing is all theirs. Ascend, make it to double digits.
And Defo falls. This is, I hate to say it, on the back of Nats. I don't know if that's complacency or just a momentary lapse of concentration. But Zeke finds a huge kill, and it allows Ascend to completely dislodge the entire game plan. Somehow Gambit still make that interesting. Like Absolutely. I said, the lockdown comes so late, though. The scene there, I mean, he's faced with either being detained or losing out that 1v1. But Starzo able to tuck himself in, clutching that one up.
And now the pressure goes right towards Gambit in my mind. Yes, they had an answer for a couple of rounds, but they know the money's coming to an end. And yeah, you're bang on. Yeah, Killer's invested his, but look beyond that. Everyone else is getting theirs coming through now. Defo looking to be proactive towards middle, though. And CNED's already threaded a little early, getting ahead of this.
You think even if Gambit win this, the next round leans in favor of Ascend? Even if it's an eco? Sure presented there, Defo has to dash away.
Yeah. The risk-reward maybe tilting towards the risk side as we look towards this B piece again, though. The rotations are correct from Gambit. They're going to have their players here. They're going to probably have 4 players in attendance, and Defo trying to push up. He's got...
This is awkward.
Red
the flash
here, flash, and it's going to be a delayed push. Wait, what? Zeke and Starzo deny Defo and Redguard's aggression. Zeke takes the site. He's got the showstopper in hand. He's looking for any target, and he finds one. Nats is obliterated, and the site is now going to be under Ascend control. Spike surely to be planted, and Shados and Chronicle can say nothing in this matter. Shados does find killers, but is there a world in which they can even find an avenue?
No way.
No way, they're out. They're out.
They have to be. This is Ascend on 11. Like I said, the next few rounds are huge. Even if Gambit won out this one, you look at the ultimate stack, and it leans heavily in favor of Ascend. But Gambit try and be decisive. They try and take the initiative. I think the flash just slightly off there behind the smoke, because
no one was blind.
There's a real possibility of that ultimately just being a 2-for-2 trade. But like you said already, the rotations come through. Gambit got the right people in the right place. And Ascend, force survive, that's huge as well. It's almost forces Gambit another win or another buy round to remove that from the economy. And actually a round where Ascend slow things down. I said that was potentially going to be one of my biggest critiques.
Gripes, yeah.
And here they look comfortable. The reaction is so quick.
It's so decisive as well. There's no second guessing. It's as soon as you get those first 2 picks, you are straight in there. And frustration's starting to show on the Gambit side. Tactical timeout probably on theirs called in. 11-8. Felt like they had an answer for a little while. But the rebuttal was so quick from Ascend. And they still have ults to play with here. Yes, Zeke invested his, but you still have Starzo, you still have Bone Cord, you still have CNET. On the other side, yes, Redguard's there and so is Shados, but we are getting down to the very end of this now.
I'm looking at that purchase and I'm thinking this is the do or die round for Gambit. This is potentially Ascend finding championship point, and I'm seeing Spectres. I think there was a stinger somewhere on there, which just gives me major anxiety.
Probably why there's a timeout right now.
And the thing is here, they have to almost kind of throw a send off balance here. So they almost have to get proactive. They have to find something in the early round that alters the course of this. Because with these weapons, the longer it goes on, Gambit have to rely on utility to ultimately shut out any sight hits, and it's going to be stacked up. You know, Ascend are probably anticipating playing this out as an anti-eco, and Gambit maybe letting one slip. They want to hold them. They don't want to allow them to go to map point.
Huge round potentially. Let's see what that buy looks like. It's not terrible.
That's not as bad as it was before we cut away from it.
Yeah, it's been kind of changed around. Was it 3 Spectres, 2 Rifles? But you're right, this is the buy that we have to look at. This has to stop Ascend's build back into this if you want Gambit to close back into this game. And I feel like it was inevitable they'd be able to get there, but now CNED instantly puts himself in this. Redgar on the back lines looking to do damage, but it's just a Spectre. As much as he can try and fight, it's still not much to bring through. Chronicle only good for 1, and Nats with the Spectre again still tucked in the corner. CNED, he falls, and Nats still stands.
I don't know how Nats just won that with the Spectre versus CNED at that range, but Defo also going to find Bone Cold. We're going to get ahead of this. Keyless will respond though. A 2v2 presented. Keyless gets tagged up.
They're digging in so deep right now. Starzo though takes them to 12, and Ascend are on championship point.
I can't believe it. That round there is huge as well. Ascend know that they can just run numbers. If they lose one on the way in, they trade out, they have the res, they can reinforce behind this. Yeah, I have no idea how how Nats wins that 1v1, but Starzo, man, the late round piece for Ascend, absolutely huge from him. And they're on the brink.
And this is the buy they come in with. It comes down to this. Ascend are 1 round away now. Gambit, everything they could purchase. 2 Rifles, a Bulldog, and 2 Spectres. Light armor as well. It's not pretty, but Gambit are known to go against the odds. But right now, Ascend are playing out of their minds. Keyless checked on early, tries to play safety. Defo wants to close that gap. He wants to be the one to make the difference. And all he feels is the full force from Keyless. And now they're out of positions, they're out of sorts. Shados, what'd you do with this? He's stuck in the sewer.
Might even get caught, but CNED
oh my god, CNED's just unleashed as well. So they've now opened up that A site. This instantly dwindles Gambit's numbers down to 3. Nats, Redgar, and Chronicle. How do you hold on to this? The ult comes in, the information free-flowing now. Chronicle tries to walk up. It's going to be Zeke and Starzo on the other side. They're keeping their composure. They're going to try and play him through heaven. Nats is on the other side of this, but all he has is that Spectre. He's already seen 1 pass. CNED finds 1. It's all on Redgar now. And this is what it comes down to. 1 more man to stand, and Redgar,
30 seconds left.
All the hours you've put in, thousands upon thousands, is down to a 1v4, and it's done! Ascend are your Valorant Champions winners! The first of their kind to etch their names in the history books. And they did it in the shadows, surprising so many. And they've worked so hard.
This is really the second coming of this roster. We saw a dip in performance, a dip in form, and what a time to come back online here. Toppling Gambit, who have just looked dominant, even in the round, even in the series that they drop a map here and there. They show comeback, they show resilience, and Ascend squash that here in the grand finals.
Amazing work from Ascend. Truly, I think the quarterfinals dip out in the past threw a lot of doubt on their name. Put a lot of the brilliant superstars in question. But this is the crowning moment. They're one of the first out of the EMEA to show how talented they are. Gambit took that from them, and they've taken it right back.
Again, they come away from this, no shame in this. Ascend played absolutely lights out on that final map. Had an answer for everything, even where you think Gambit have the strengths. Ascend actually topple them in their comfort zone, where Gambit have looked best. What an insane series from start to finish.
Yeah, the juxtaposition of emotions on both sides. I mean, every single player in that server, the coaches behind, they poured their life into this game. I don't think that's going to be stopping anytime soon. And emotional moments across from all of this. Killers, I mean, as said, this Ascend side has had a lot of doubters.
Yeah.
A lot of people
I've been
were.
one of them.
I think we all have, because we've seen what they look like at their best, and they looked untouchable. Roll your mind back to that Heretics victory at the very start of their career. The throw-in of Zeke coming in, how does he fit to that roster? Do we like the look, do we not? I don't think we can ever doubt them again now.
No, I think as well, you look at some of the concerns early on. I mean, Keyless for me, this event alone has been massive. Like I said,
Incredible.
Earlier on in the year, bumping from agent to agent, not really finding that comfort zone, and the way that Ascend are able to then adjust around them, it's no longer seen it in Friends, right? This is firing on all cylinders. Starzo and Keyless, two of the biggest improvements, I think, on this roster, but also not to even leave out Bone Cold.
No, you can't.
How many times? And you think about actually the changes stylistically from Ascend, a lot of that comes from Bone Cold. A lot of it.
It does. It really does. And just look at these players on the screen. Every single one of them gave it their all. That's what it's all about here. And I can't wait to see what happens with these two going forward. What does the future hold for them? As I said, enemies in the server and friends outside.
It's crazy. Gambit put up a hell of a fight, but Ascend
they did.
weather the storm, which is something we've criticized so many times, but closing out when it matters and looked in absolute control. Towards the end of that map, you see dialed in, everybody stepping up when it mattered most. An amazing statement sent by them.
What a series. What a series. And this is just a look back at this map, but my word, the entire series. From map 1 to here, it was a marathon of a best of 5. I can only imagine the emotions, the adrenaline, the come down of it all as well. As now they sit there and realize, as said, they're the best that this game has right now in this moment. No one can take it away from them. No one can doubt them. They took on Gambit, who looked untouchable. That no matter the odds, that Gambit would turn the game around. You looked at Fracture, it was condemning. You looked at that scoreline, you thought, well,
It's like,
surely it's done for.
what do you think? Fracture was actually in this series. Like, it's night and day. And that was something coming in that Ascend was saying, actually, yeah, it's a back pocket for us. And, you know, planting the seeds of doubt. They got absolutely rolled on that. And like I said, the resilience shown here is one of the biggest improvements for these guys.
And it's a bitter pill to swallow for the other side, I think. It goes without saying. It's one of the best players in the world on Gambit as well. We've seen them with the target on their back. They still rise to the occasion. They still found brilliance. And we have to see what they look like when they now get to come back in again. Maybe more attention on other teams. Maybe you get to see Nats reinvent himself once again. How deep can Chronicle go? But this is the story of the entire tournament. Every single team has provided amazing results. Crew absolutely blowing everyone out of the water. I think you now have a whole new set of fans around the world. Every single team. X10, how could you not love them? I mean, this whole event has been incredible, but it's not about that right now. It's about Ascend, and it's about Dash on the stage with them.
A little over 2 years ago, we got the first glimpse of Riot's tactical shooter. And just 12 months later, we launched the Valorant Champions Tour globally. All of that brought us to Berlin, where 16 of the top teams competed to call themselves the best in the world. And for a team that was not afforded the spotlight or the chance at both Masters Reykjavik and Berlin, they had the only thing that mattered: trust in each other. It is our distinct honor to crown our inaugural VCT champions. Give it up for Ascend! It has been a long and arduous journey over the last 12 months for all of our teams. But the 5 players standing on this stage showed the grit and tenacity required of a champion, finding their form in just the right moments to overcome incredible opponents. It started in the group stage, where they fought their way through the upper bracket to earn the first seed in the knockouts. And then from there, they dispatched an unpredictable Team Secret before putting on a display of dominance against Team Liquid. But nothing can eclipse this best-of-5 5-game final, where they were pushed to the absolute limit. And as I turn back to our first ever champions here in Valorant, Starkso, you know I'm coming to you first, my dude. You tweeted out yesterday. You said that if someone had told you just 12 months ago that a team of quote-unquote basically 5 no-names made it to the finals, you would have laughed out loud. Well, not only did you make it, you won the damn thing. So what do you want to do now? You want to laugh? You want to cry? You want to scream? Where are you at, my dude?
I don't know. I literally have zero emotions in myself. It still didn't get to me. Like the last round on Split was like, it's 5 versus 1. I'm like, what's the next map? I wanted to ask already because I thought we were still playing, you know, it's like 2-2 or something. But now it's slowly getting to me that I'm standing here, it's in front of me. I don't know, I wanted to say thank you to my insane teammates because without them we wouldn't be here.
An absolutely insane effort by an incredible team. How's the trophy? Does it live up to expectation? Is it heavy? How does it feel in your hand?
I mean, I'm pretty strong, man.
Well, naturally, yes, of course.
It's pretty cool, pretty cool.
Oh, my goodness. All right, well, CNET, I want to come to you next because within that same tweet, Starkso said something else that I think has been a sentiment for a lot of the people around the world. CNET and friends, right? That was the storyline around this team. I want to get your opinion on this team, the makeup of it, what makes you guys great, and ultimately the development of this roster over this year that brought you to this championship.
You're the carry. I mean, this tournament is the proof of it's not Sned and friends because I didn't even perform well and my teammates carried me in some games. Thank you.
It was all a bait.
That's my bro right there. That's broadcast ready. I love it.
Nothing to say, we won. I'm happy and thanks to all my teammates.
Hey, much deserved by all of you. All right, from there, I'm going to jump over to Keyless. Keyless, overcome by emotion there at the end. Come on, talk to me.
Last time I cried, it was 20 years ago, maybe. So, I don't know what happened, but I just couldn't stop. I don't know.
Happy tears, though? Happy tears?
Of course, of course.
All right, well, let's talk about this then. You guys had a really interesting run through this tourney. You dropped the very first map that you played against Vivo Keyed, and then you won every single map until you made it to this best of 5. Yes. But your opponents here in Gambit pushed you the entire distance. We had an overtime. This series had everything. So how do you reflect on the journey, what it took for you guys to get from group stage day 1 to holding this trophy?
It's a constant evolution of the team. Like, we came here, we were shaky. Everybody knows that. Everybody saw that. But we lost. We came back. We won. It's like constant pressure on us. And we were evolving game after game in this tournament.
Let's talk a little bit more about that,
story of this team.
This idea that people maybe underestimated you, right? It's been an interesting storyline to track. With those 2-0s kind of across the board, it felt like Ascend was flying under the radar and maybe under-respected coming into this final. For yourself, though, talk to me about that adversity that you had to overcome. And now how it feels to know that you're not going to be underestimated anymore. You're the first world champions ever. You got a target on your back.
I mean, it just feels amazing. Like, we've always had our ups and downs. We just peaked Masters 1 where we won it online. We like in the first Open qualifiers, like we lost to, you know, like teams that back then we didn't feel like losing to, and you know, like coming all the way up here, it's just I'm just speechless. I feel like the whole team has done so much work. They have came over so many different situations, hard situations, and I totally feel like, you know, we totally deserve it. We've been pushing ourselves to the absolute limit for the last 9 months, and I can't be more than happy to say, you know, all the results just came to this.
More than deserved, to say the least. And as you talk about what you had to overcome and the changes that you went through, let's talk about one of those changes, one of the newest additions. Zeke, my dude, how's it feeling? You jump onto this squad and boom, you're a world champion.
I don't know, peak of my life. What can I do? What can I say? I have no idea, you know, I just joined this. I had high expectations, didn't have an expectation of, you know, just winning a world championship. Like, you know, who would have? It's insane to me. Like, we were so shaky at the beginning, and then, you know, after the remake, after the rematch against Vivo Kid, we just played out of our minds. We are just like the best team in the world. Like, what can I say?
It's inarguable. It is absolutely inarguable at this point. You guys are the best team in the world, and you individually put yourself on a map like you haven't been before with your performance on this tournament. As a duelist, absolutely popping off time and time again, but also in some ways changing the conversation of how duelists can be utilized. People constantly talking about utility and the way you can kind of see the map and change the circumstances. For yourself, how do you feel as you think back on what you just put out in front of the world by yourself?
Can I add to this something?
Please do.
Everybody knows, you know, like Zeke has been like insane on LANs. He's been performing extremely well. Online, LAN doesn't matter for him. His fragging potential is just up the roof, but also people don't know about it in our team. Zeke is mostly, you know, like he's the guy who's pushing us through, you know, like through the hard situations. This series, like we're losing Fracture like 1-11, and Zeke is the guy who's, you know, like he's the first guy to say, you know, like guys, like focus the fuck up. Like this is the world championship. I really wanted to add that because that's just something that like might just not show up, you know, like in the games.
Well, let me get your reaction to that.
What can I say, Bonkos? He said the truth, I mean. He said the truth. I'm trying my best today after that horrible fracture, you know. I was the first one to just run out, you know, hit the guys, you know, guys, focus, doesn't matter. We forget about this map, you know. We're going, it's our playground. The next two maps are our playground, and you see, we did it. We kept our mental strong. I don't know if that was my part. Of course, it's not only me. Everybody here just, you know, stepped up. It's not. I just helped them a little bit, as always. But it doesn't matter, guys. We are world champions. I need a while to process all of this. You know, I'm gonna probably go.
You get a little break now.
You know, the team's gonna go from
I need a break.
Hopefully, I guess I should ask your coach if you get a break. I probably shouldn't tell you that you get a break, but I would imagine that you do. It was an incredible performance. MBS, I'm not gonna leave here without asking you a question as well, and I want to ask you the final question. It's been a long 12 months. A lot of work, as these guys have talked about, being put into this season that culminates in you being the first ever world champions in Valorant. When you reflect back on that and you think about what not just you six, but the entire organization has accomplished in this year, what makes you the most proud?
Honestly, just the evolvement of the team and how everyone likes the game and each other, you know. When we built the team back in January, nobody really expected much. Maybe, you know, top 8 in Europe or something, but everyone, like, we surprised ourselves when we won Masters 1. That's truth, you know. But then, back then, I saw the potential and how far we can go. And honestly, like, these guys, I quite often when we practice, I feel like a zookeeper, you know? They're super young, they're all over the place, the potential is bursting everywhere. I just need to keep them under control and, you know, keep the bus going straight, not all kinds of directions.
Stay in the bus, guys, stay in the bus.
Stay in the bus.
It's true, we are a bunch of animals.
We're doing well, and I think the progress shows. I feel like our preparation was also good, you know. I feel like we focused on the right things that needed to be focused. We didn't, like, dive too deep into strats and all that. We keep our play style, which is super adaptive, you know, like we adapt to what we see, we evolve, we play every game different. And yeah, during the year, like, honestly, big thank you to our organization, and especially the MVP of all year is our mental coach. Like
Thomas!
I honestly
Mr.
think a lot of
Miyagi.
people are still underestimating the power of that. Good mental coach is what you guys need. It's insane. And I think everyone in the team will agree.
Yep. Well, I love that, calling out the mental coach, keeping the wheels straight as the head coach as well, from thinking maybe top 8 all the way to world champs. Gents, I want to congratulate you one more time on doing what no other team has done before, for kicking off the first year of Valorant as the world champions. One more time, grab that trophy, lift it up into the air. Ladies and gents, as we've crowned our first ever Valorant champions, we're going to take a look back and celebrate the end of the 2021 Valorant esports year by looking at the Prime Gaming post-match highlights. Ascend!
An entire year worth of blood, sweat, and tears has led to this moment, guys. One of these teams will be making history today by lifting the trophy as the first ever winners of Valorant Champions. Nobody's ever going to forget whichever team wins today.
Nats just destroyed them! You can't run and you can't hide! Nats is right there every single time!
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining.
Nats refusing to relent. This guy's a god right now. This is looking dicey. Chronicle! How's he found three? Let's go!
Oh my
I
word.
don't know about this game, man.
But
One enemy A. One enemy.
What a moment, what a final, and what a last map we had there. Ascend, they are your official world champions. I cannot believe I just got to say that, guys. The three of you were all right. You all backed Ascend.
Yeah, we knew it all along, and there was never a doubt in our minds, right, Yinsu?
I didn't get to back one, but, you know, I got Turkish jets are the best jets in the world, so you guys want to know which direction I would have leaned towards.
And that was a heart and head decision, too. That was hard. A head said Gambit's firepower. The heart said Ascend is just flying up the ladder right now. Can they rise up enough?
My God, what a pleasure to stand here. And I have to highlight the fact that Killis, the moment he realized he was a world champion, he pulled his headset off and he got on the ground and he just cried. And that is the kind of emotion that esports brings. I mean, as me especially, I've been in it for years as a player, as a coach, and now as an analyst. And to sit here and get to witness that, that is incredible.
You're crying.
I mean, we will cry later together, my friend.
I'm going to say this, just very few players get to say that their team is the best in the world definitively. But we had an entire circuit culminate here in a celebration of the game here at Champions. And this team is clearly the best team in the world.
Without a doubt.
And hearing Zeke say that just like brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah.
It's just so special.
The growth of the entire team was incredible, right?
Yes.
At the beginning of this, I was like, in Masters Berlin, Keyless was the pain point for me. He was somebody that you would get in the start of Icebox, he was crushing it. He had pivotal plays the entire time, and you can see what this meant to him. The entire team overall here, as they're accepting more and more, as they deserve every bit of it here on the main stage after they'll be able to see the trophy later once again.
I mean, back at EMEA, this is a gigantic moment for Turkey. This is huge for them. Valorant in Turkey is not like Valorant in any other region. It's a totally another level of passion and how much they love this. And to see one of their players, the best Turkish player, as a world champion is insane.
Came out of nowhere, dominates the scene, best jet in the world.
Yeah.
I mean, best team in the world.
Wow.
It's just such a Cinderella story.
It is. And speaking of the best, I want to do like a unofficial desk tournament.
We talked about this the whole time, right?
Yeah,
we
have to. You know,
Absolutely.
on paper, I think coming into this tournament, people would have thrown CNED's name in there. But the four of us, we've put our brains together and we've picked a different player. Sure, I'm going to let you announce and tell me why you think this guy deserves to be the MVP.
I went with Zeke as my MVP for the tournament. I think you guys agree with me. He had the highest KD on the team. He plays support roles. He plays duelist. He does so much for this team, and he's the vocal leader. You heard it there on the stage, come from Bone Cold. I love everything this guy brings to the team, and ever since they brought him in, they've looked like the best team in the world.
It doesn't matter what the stats show you on the screen, because when we talk about Zeke, we aren't just talking about KD, we aren't just talking about ACS, we're talking about intangible things that metrics can't give you. The amount of times on this map, for example, he's able to use his utility. He also played the Raze, he played the Reyna. How many times did he get entries? He had almost the entire most engagements of the team and was the only positive on the team. That goes to show the impact he had, regardless of whether he had the top dog spot. And I am proud to say that he could walk away with his head held very high after that.
Best KO player too. I mean, we talk about players if they could play KO. Definitely, I feel like heads above all of the other KO players we've seen.
Yeah, and I love this because Ascend used agents, Omen and KO, that other teams have frowned upon and have actually shunned away from their
They don't even touch Breach.
They don't.
Yeah.
I mean, the way that Ascend did it is unlike any other team in the scene, and for that, you have to give credit to their coach, their in-game leader, and every player for putting the hard work necessary to create your own style.
They actually hit different.
Yeah, I also I do want to circle back to something on Twitter. You know, I think Hypog mentioned this. Carlos tweeted that, you know, G2, they kicked Zeke. And Zeke, during that time, he was very vocal about how down and how much that affected him, not being able to play on that team. And of course, you know, being reunited with CNED, they used to play together. Being back on this team, he's just completely transformed. And you got to feel a little bit bad for Carlos, right? This guy's a world champion now.
Well, they lost out there. They lost out very sorely, but there's another man on the screen right now, Bone Cold, who I think deserves the biggest props. Can we talk about a man who has had a glow up and a half?
Yeah.
Came in very early on, and I would say to me had a lot of weaknesses. I was watching him throughout the maps, especially when I was first learning Valorant, watching him play, and I was like, I don't really feel like Bone Cold hits the way he should in the role that he has. Well, let me apologize, Bone Cold, because you have had the ultimate glow up that a player can have in a leadership role. It's a very difficult role to undertake, and he's done it with grace.
Now, this is the last day of the tournament circuit of the year. I want to ask you guys a very difficult question. I'm not going to lie. What are you most looking forward to for next year? Because we're going to be back, baby. This is not the only Valorant champions.
They dropped that bomb with the circuit. The circuit
did.
So it's starting, and then the last 3 months of the year are just open. I mean, everything about next year I'm so excited for. It's only going to get better. It's only going to get bigger. I can't pick one, Yinsu.
Oh, really?
I'm ready for so this year we had a few teams reach that peak to know they're here right away. Right, Crew had it, they fought hard. Sentinels and them, Crew got it at the same time almost. I feel like with the competition next year, nobody's going to be able to sit back and say, oh, we're already in champions. Everybody's going to be pushing each other this far, right here. And it's going to be each tournament that counts to the max.
Now you know what champions looks like. Now you know what it looks like to be a champion winner. And you are the world champion. Now everyone wants to vie for that spot because they know what it looks like. It's tangible. It's in their reach. They know how it looks. And now that Ascend is sitting on that throne, well, it's time to knock them off if you're another team around the world. And, well, we already know that the entire world is vying for that spot. And they are competitive. It wasn't EMEA versus NA like we thought. It is the whole world really digging for that spot.
Well, it's EMEA versus EMEA, but I
mean, throughout the...
I'm most looking forward to EMEA defending our title and game changers. I got to throw that in.
Last 3 months of the years, yes.
At the last few months of next year, it's going to be incredible. But that is unfortunately all the time we have, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. It's been a massive pleasure. Thank you to you guys for watching and tuning in at home and all of the watch parties. Of course, it's been so much fun to see everybody. Congratulations once again to Ascend, your inaugural champions, of course. We're going to be back for more Valorant next year. And yeah, thank you, Sean, and everybody else. I have to. We'll see you next year.
My God, I feel like it's like an Olympics vibe. It's like, what's the first place on the podium? Yeah, you got to wear the gold. That's where we're at. We're getting world championships, baby.
Notice now posted. Nat's going to try and find his way out. Denies the ult. Swings it. Oh, Nat's out of nowhere.
Near, far, wherever you are, we hope you are tuned in here for VCT Champions.
And now Poster and Magnum, what have you got for us? They're desperate. They're still pushing. Oh my God, Poster!
This is it, the first elimination match of Valorant Champions.
Team Secret, they stay in the tournament. 13-2 on Haven.
It's done. It took Ascend a long time, but it is not quite enough for Vivo Keed. They are the team that knocks out every Brazilian. Like thieves in the night, the Dark Horse stays alive. They live to fight another day, and they send full sends home. X10 have managed to get themselves through to the decider match.
The winner of this match will be going through to the quarterfinals, and the loser will be heading home.
It's over! It's done with! Crew against all of our expectations, against all odds! Send Sentinels home! Cloud9, a North American hope appears, making it out of the groups here.
You may have questioned what this team could do internationally, but there's no question now. Team Secret eliminate Vikings and put themselves into the quarterfinals.
And SCA are going all the way to playoffs. Envy have been eliminated, and X10 underestimated themselves coming into this tournament. Comes up over the top, manages to get that last knife. Right, who's facing? Oh, the flick is absolutely gorgeous! And there you have it, 13-6, as Ascend look absolutely, utterly dominant in the quarterfinals. They will be moving forward.
What is this game, Sean?
Impeccable kill.
No! And that Team Liquid, they eliminate the North American hope in Cloud9 Blue.
Will the fairy tale continue for X10, or will the big bad walls of Gambit come and give them a rude awakening?
Gambit, semi-finals, calling their name.
In the shot, no. Klaus able to do it. He's trying to get it. Oh, they're gonna get it. What was that, Klaus? What was that? The bells of the ball take down another giant, and so Cinderella's story continues. Vamos, Latinoamerica! Vamos, crew!
Hearts and minds are set on hoisting that Champions Trophy.
Enemy down. One enemy.
Liquid's hot run, the undefeated run, has been crushed by Ascend, and they're going to go into that grand finals.
One enemy remaining.
18-16, the defending champions take it across the line. Gambit are going to the grand final.
An entire year worth of blood, sweat, tears has led to this moment, guys. One of these teams will be making history today by lifting the trophy as the first ever winners of Valorant Champions. Nobody's ever going to forget whichever team wins today.
Spike down, B. One enemy. Poison's off.
Nats just destroyed them! You can't run and you can't hide! Nats is right there every single time!
One enemy remaining. One enemy remaining. Spike planted.
Nats refusing to relent. This guy's a god right now. This is looking dicey. Chronicle! How's he found three?
Let's go!
Oh my
I
word.
don't know about this game, man.
One enemy. One enemy.
Ascend are your Valorant Champions winners! The first of their kind to etch their names in the history books. And they did it in the shadows, surprising so many. And they've worked so hard.